Hi, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sean Healy. My company is called Dragon Koi Coaching. And I wanted to talk to you just for a few minutes here about a course that I'm offering called the Neurology of the Unconscious Mind. My background is that I've owned a number of Pilates studios and personal training studios. I've been a business consultant in the industry for over 10 years now. I started my career 25 years ago helping people change. And so this course, the Neurology of the Unconscious Mind, really is an extension of what I've found that is important over my career. It's interesting when we train people, when I'm working with business owners, it sort of all comes down to the same thing: is how do we get people to change? How do we get them to make decisions and follow through with them, really? So this course came from me really kind of diving in and looking at how is it that this happens. A lot of us, particularly in the Pilates industry and the fitness industry, have looked at how we make bodies change and how we can effectively make people feel better in their bodies. But the real kicker is that everything really happens in your mind. Everything happens from deciding that you want it to progress the way that you do. All decisions that we make, all learning that we have, all changes that we make are really coming from an unconscious level. By the time we're conscious and aware of what's going on, it's kind of old news. Our system is already decided. So that's sort of what this course explores. I mean, on one hand, we're going to look at what happens with us, in our world, everything that comes into our system. We have about 10 to 12 million pieces of information coming into our system every second. So looking at our visual system, our auditory system, our kinesthetic system, we have a ton of information coming in. That information that comes in is distorted, deleted, and generalized, and then stored in our system. We have 100 trillion connections in our brain. Just think about that for a second. It's sort of phenomenal to think about. I mean, 100 trillion connections, and all of our memories, all of our thoughts, all of our emotions, everything is stored in those connections. So this course looks at that. How one, does the brain work? What is causing people to make decisions? What is causing people to feel and to think and to trust? What are those neurochemicals that are in play in our minds that cause all this stuff to happen? So one, we look at ourselves. What is the brain doing, and how is our interpretation of our world really coming about? It's from our history. We have negative emotions, we have limiting beliefs that are developed over time, which ultimately create a situation that is going to effectively cause us to either be successful or not in our future. The second part of this course takes that into consideration. So how do we take those people that we're working with and start to understand really what's happening with them? How are we communicating? So we dig a little bit into something called neurolinguistic programming, NLP. Maybe you've heard of it. Really, it's how the brain interprets words and information and how we position them in certain contexts in our brain to then create an outcome for us. So the second half of this course is really looking at that communication in our brain. How are we communicating with other people? So whether or not you're an instructor of some kind, a physical therapist that works with patients or clients, whether you're a money manager that deals with clients and people's emotions behind financial situations, whether you have somebody that is just a spouse or a friend. Communication is key, and we have to understand how that communication comes back into us and is transferred to them. So we're really looking at a few different things here. One is, how does your brain work? How does the communication, that self-talk that we have, as well as what other people are saying to us, how is that affecting our outcome, our decision making, our learning, our emotions, our processing? We're really looking at things like, if we want to really look at, kind of from a business perspective, we're going to be looking at like buying patterns. What causes somebody to come into a business and make a purchase? By the time somebody buys something in your company, if you own a company, they've already made the decision. You just have to show them that they made the right decision. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the business aspect of interpretation of how other people see things and are communicating and storing things in their brain. And then lastly, like I had said earlier, we're really looking at that communication dynamic and what is actually happening in the brain when we're communicating. So, like I said, most everything that happens is coming from an unconscious level. We just transfer it probably a third of a second later to our conscious brain to catch up and to help it to make sense and to justify those things that are happening to make our world, the story make sense to us. So I would encourage you to ask questions if you have them. Email me if you have questions about the course. We have courses set up around the country. Look on the website, dragonkoicoaching.com, to find the next and closest course near you. And like I said, if you have questions about it, please don't hesitate to call. Or email me and let me know what you think about it. But I'm excited to teach this course. I've done it a few times already, and it's really an amazing weekend. On one hand, it kind of is mind-blowing because there's a lot of stuff that's happening that we really are not aware of, and it's fun to teach people that. The other thing is it really gives a skill set for people when they leave the course to really be able to have a handle on how they're communicating and maybe some things that they might need to change just a little bit or realize at least when they're communicating with these other people that are around them, whether it be clients or relationships that you have of any kind. So anyway, I look forward to seeing you in a course coming up. Definitely get a hold of me if you have any questions, and we'll see you hopefully one of these weekends. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this, and I hope to meet you soon. Thanks.